Yeah, so the front of the house really remains unchanged. You'd be hard pressed to see anything that has happened to this house. I think it'll look the same, and I think that the way that we've designed the additions and integrated them into the overall mass, I think people will be hard pressed to know that anything has ever happened to the house. Here on the second floor, this is the area I'm pointing to the light elevation on the proposed. You see, you pull this back in, reducing the impact to the neighbor on the right. On the second floor, this is the addition on the left side, showing the new fourth bedroom. And you can see we replicated the roof lines and the penetration patterns, kind of incorporating an ill-conceived addition from 2000, making it look like it was originally part of the house. And this is something that the HPC really liked when we presented it. You know, try to make the house look nice, not only to the street, but also to the surrounding neighbors as well. I think the house looks attractive to the rear. And I have this is a garage. It's a modest in size, as I stated earlier, as required by the town ordinance. And we tried to match the nice Tudor revival style of the existing house, mimic all the materials, not only on the house, but on the garage. And it's so far to the rear of the property, I think you would be hard pressed to kind of see it from the road. And if you do, I think it would be attractive because it looks like it should really be there. I'd like to move it. This is a photo board we submitted last time, but I altered it with a new rendering so we can make it a new exhibit perhaps.
If you altered it, we absolutely do. So the last exhibit was, I believe, A7, which was an enlarged aerial photo of the neighborhood property. So this would be A8.
It would be A8.
And what is A8?
A8 is the rendering showing the proposed as well as the prior proposed larger addition.
What's the data?
9/26/25. We prepared that. I did. The date is correct because it's the week prior to our time.
Right.
So
Unless you were clairvoyant.
yes, I was
You knew
ready
it was
for
going
the
to happen
change.
over the ensuing year.
Right. Yeah, so I would have done this rendering in March of of this year, right before our last.
March 26th,
March
26th, give or take.
Mhm.
Okay, and that's going to be marked as A8.
Yes. All right, so I'll just for reference, these are the existing photos. This was exhibit A1 of the prior presentation. These are just photos of the house from the different sides. Here's the proposed, and the front looks largely the same. We've better integrated the bay window on the front of the house, made it more look like it was part of the original design. It was just a 1980s tack on. This is the detached garage, it's the same as before, and this is the change that we made. So this is the proposed. You can see it comes all the way to the rear. Plus, we had a balcony. We push this area back. It was seats. We still have the existing first floor that remains unchanged, but it creates a much smaller appearing. It doesn't look as tall. It's the same angle, same rendering. So it makes a dramatic change in scale. So I think this really, is well integrated into the house, and I think this really addresses the board's comments from last time in a positive way. As you can see, as I stated earlier, all the details match the existing, and what we're merely doing is creating a little bit more space, making a 4-bedroom house, which is more typical for the neighborhood and what people expect nowadays. I think these changes are really subordinate to the original home. From the street, they kind of disappear and fade away. We also have the landscape plan that I mentioned earlier. It's produced by Brian Hirsch, a landscape architect in town.
So that was previously marked as A3. Has there been any changes to that plan in consideration as revised?
No, it's mostly just the site is what this addresses, and the site hasn't changed. So it just shows the detached garage that we're adding, strips of pavers from the driveway to the back. Instead of extending a sea of asphalt, added a lot more impervious coverage. We try to keep it sparse, and I think it's more historically in keeping with the period of this house, not to have so much paving. And plus, it allows a lot more green space for the yard and for the neighborhood. On the right side of the existing site, there's this large gravel area where we're removing all that gravel and making it green again, which is nice. The neighbor to the rear on Linden Place, they have a large detached garage that was added, and they did a large addition a couple of years ago. And so their garage basically completely blocks our garage from their view. Plus, we're adding a row of evergreen screening along the rear and some planting beds, not only creating privacy for ourselves, but for the neighbor. And there's a number of large evergreen, short evergreen screening between our house and the neighbor to the right, thus kind of minimizing any impact to light, air, and open space. In general, I think these changes really improve the functionality and make the house more suitable for a modern family while fitting into the context of the Wyoming Historic District. As I stated before, we have issues with working with the scale of the house while preserving the historic charm. Not that we would tear this house down, but we're really limited on how much we can change the existing house and still satisfy the HBC. So kind of how do we make them happy and you happy? So I think we've struck that happy medium here. A house built almost 100 years ago really doesn't meet the needs of a modern family. So making these changes, making the house more updated, is going to really create an aesthetic use of the home for generations to come. So before I turn it over to the board, I could open up to any questions.
Anyone have any questions for this?
You want to see if there's any questions?
Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who has any questions? Okay.
There's hand raised.
We make a statement or?
No statement. Do you have a question for the architect?
So there, at the appropriate time, the applicant completes its case with all of its witnesses. And each one of those witnesses is subject to cross-examination. We will then open it up to the public, and the public will have an opportunity to make a statement, present evidence, whatever they wish to do with regards to the applicant.
Good evening.
Mr. Keller, you've already been sworn, and your testimony, you provided testimony at the February 2nd meeting.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we're going to ask you to take that prior testimony and evidence you submitted into consideration in terms of your supplemental testimony and evidence in terms of the changes that were made to the application.
Yes, thank you. Not quite as tall as me. So Doug actually touched on a lot of my testimony. Clearly, this is an undersized lot within the zone, located mid-block between Wyoming and Myrtle and Glen. Just to stress the undersized nature, it's a 55-foot wide lot. It's 20 foot narrower than required by ordinance, so it's about 75% of what's required. And the 8,250 square foot lot is 6,250 square feet less than what's required. So it's about 59% of the requirements. So it is a significantly undersized lot in the zone. And that becomes the basis for much of the variance relief, say at the FAR. The one thing that was a question that was asked, if this lot were conforming to either the lot width or the lot area, we would be fully conforming application with respect to FAR, building coverage, and lot coverage. The only thing we would need would be the side yard setbacks because we're adding to an existing non-conforming building, which is already too close on one side and doesn't need to combine side yard. So to answer that question, yes, we would be clearly conforming. Another thing that it's good to notice is that in the R5 zone, besides being a variety of lot widths, even on our block, where they go from 50, 55, 65, 75, even larger to 100-foot lot. What is unique about this block is that it's one of the few that is not 400 feet deep. It's only 300. So if you go from Glen to Chestnut, and I guess I did have this exhibit last time. annotated aerial photo.
What was it? I can look it up.
It's an annotated aerial photo, hold on.
Enlarged aerial photo
I'll
of
get it.
neighborhood properties.
We'll get it in, so let's answer.
Okay, well, no, what I'm saying is that
I have
you
the large one.
have A4 aerial exhibit of neighborhood.
Yeah, that would be it.
Okay, so what you're referring to is A4, which was previously marked.
We look at A4, what you'll see is, we have a 150-foot deep lot, 55 feet wide. This block between Chestnut and Myrtle is 300. However, if you continue, I'm still in the neighborhood and walk sometimes on these streets. If you go from Linden to Cedar to Cypress, Pine, Elm, Maple, Mountain, and then to Clinton, all those blocks, with the exception of between Cedar and Cypress and Pine, are 400-foot deep lots. So each of those lots is 200 feet deep, which is not something you perceive from the street. When you're walking up each of these streets, you see roughly the distance between the homes and the size of the homes. I would point out that if this lot was the same 55-foot width, but it was like almost every other lot going up through the neighborhood, the 9 blocks up till you get to Maplewood, we'd be fully conforming as to FAR building coverage and lot coverage. So not only if we met the zone, but if we were as deep as most of the neighborhood, remember zoning looks to put an overview on a neighborhood. They don't look at the outliers, they don't look at on either end, but they look at what is basically a neighborhood that consists of 200-foot lots. This is unique in that it's 150, and you don't perceive that from the street. So again, if we were the full depth, again, fully conforming FAR, building coverage, lot coverage, everything we'd be variance relief as side yard setbacks. Doug went through all the existing nonconformities that are existing and how difficult it is to make any modernization, make the addition that was done in the 70s more functional, as well as give them that 4th bedroom without the need for variance relief. I would point out that it is also not unusual in this neighborhood to have 4-bedroom homes. We looked at 33 lots on lot 306, 307, and 308. So those are the 3 blocks coming from us to the north. And of those homes that we looked at, 70% were 4 bedrooms or larger. There were 30% that were 3 bedrooms or less. There were 20 of them were 4 bedrooms, 2 were 5 bedrooms, 1 was a 6-bedroom, and there were 7 3-bedrooms, 3 2-bedrooms. So the overwhelming fabric of the neighborhood is 4 bedrooms. So what we're asking for to create that 4th bedroom, again, is not dissimilar to the character of the neighborhood. We're asking to basically provide what's consistent with the neighborhood and a house that's more functional, meets the needs of families in Milburn in 2026. When we look at the variance relief, and I'm going to try to not repeat since Doug gave the extent, we do need a D4 variance. We did cut the additional down from 610 to 452. So it was a significant reduction of 158 square feet. Again, remembering these on a small lot, these numbers, small change, 30, 40 square feet, has a big number in that percentage. So if we get hung up on the percentages, it can be somewhat confusing. And again, of that 452 square foot that we are now adding, only 32 is in the house. And that's really to get a little expansion to the office, but really also to reorganize that vertical circulation so you get better circulation up at the 2nd floor. Again, a hardship can be created not just by the location of the home, but the function of the home. So anytime you're adding to an existing home, you're not tearing it down, starting fresh, you have to deal with existing structure, existing stairs, existing HVAC columns, and that always means you're not going to sometimes have to go larger than you would like to if you were starting with a clean sheet. As was also in response to the question, if we made no change to the shed, we'd be down to 37.5%. And if we got rid of the garage and shed, we'd be down at 36.2, so very close. And again, if this was a 200-foot deep lot, we'd be at 29.9%, where 30% is permitted. So the positive criteria for the D4 variance, unlike commercial zones where it's a measure of intensity of use, the residential use, it's a measure of the massing of the home. The criteria for an FAR variance really follows the Randolph Township Town Center case, which really refers to the Coventry Square case. That criteria is the applicant must show that the site to accommodate problems usually associated with an FAR greater than that permitted, without substantial detriment to the neighborhood. The usual problems are overcrowding on the site, loss of air, light, and open space to the neighbors, and overwhelming character or scale of the neighborhood. So there's no hard criteria. I think, as I said last time, you give 3 architects the same square footage, it would look very different. Same way as if you have 3 180-pound people, depending upon their height, the broadness of their shoulders, the length of the torso, they could all look very different, but still be the same metric of a certain size. So when we're adding to a house, the question becomes, how well has the architect integrated the mass into the structure so as to maintain the character of the neighborhood? In this one, we think that the site can certainly accommodate it. The additional mass cannot be seen from the street. It's all behind the house. There's no impact on the adjoining dwellings on either side of the rear, and I'll talk a little bit about the negative criteria in a second. The architect has varied the massing of the existing infill over the existing 1-story portions, varied the roof line, made them more cohesive so that it doesn't look like a poor 1970s addition, but looks like it was always meant to be part of the home. We're fully conforming as to height. And the floor area is not inconsistent with those in the neighborhood. I think I showed last time, this would have been a 3.
No, hold on. The enlarged aerial photo was a 7.
A7. I think we showed on the A7, the house immediately to our left, which is on a wider 65-foot lot, 3,476 square feet. We're coming in with the expanded garage, and the 32 square foot bump on the floor plate, plus the additions over the existing first floor. We're coming at 3,286. House to our right is 3,156. So we're really in the neighborhood of the surrounding homes. And if you went to the site and looked at it, I think when you drive down the street, you don't say, oh my God, the house looks so big for the neighborhood. It's going to look no different when we're done. So we think that the site can certainly accommodate any problems associated with the increase in FAR.
Just can I interrupt you for a second?
Yep.
If you look at the houses for the lots, numbers 6 and 7, sort of to the right of that lot 5. And the only reason I'm asking is that it looks, just eyeballing it, that the dimensions of those 2 lots, 6 and 7, look very similar, if not smaller than lot 4.
Yeah, they are, the ones to our right. I don't know if I have
If you don't, you don't, I
don't know if I have
just thought
it.
it might be helpful for the applicant to demonstrate that.
Yeah, I think we were all, I don't know if I have that spreadsheet, but we were a little larger than them. The next lot being 50, we were still a little larger than them, but we were all in the same ballpark. We weren't more than a couple hundred square feet off most of the other homes, except for, there's a house across the street on the other side, which is really small. Sure that'll become larger someday. With regard to the rest of the C variances, they're either under C1, which is generated by the undersized lot width and lot area, along with the location and configuration of the lot with existing dwelling, creating a hardship and upgrading the existing property without the need for variance relief. And the others really are under the C2, which is the better planning alternative, where we need to demonstrate that we are, where we can demonstrate the purposes of the land use act are advanced, and the net benefits resulting from the deviation outlining and protecting detriment. We think that I'll go through them real quickly. We think we advance general welfare, and that we're allowing the owner to contemporize the existing home with regard to amenities that most people require in 2025. The house is being made more functional through improved circulation, better usage of space, and it brings the site closer into ordinance compliance by adding the required garage. We also, I think it's an improvement, as Doug indicated, in the visual environment. It makes the house more attractive from all sides, not just the front, which was seconded by the unanimous approval by HPC late last year. And then finally, it promotes the conservation of an historic structure by not tearing down the house, which HPC wouldn't allow, but we think we're actually bringing into making it more consistent, a more attractive historic home without taking away any of the historic elements. So with regard to the, I won't go through the extent of the variances, other than that the maximum building coverage, again, only 32 square feet increase. hundred and ninety square feet of that is, that's the house footprint, and hundred and ninety square feet, 194 is in the garage. We think that it's better planning, to have a usable garage, and in our last hearing, the board, recommended that we keep it. Building coverage, again, lot coverage, we're actually reducing it. It's an existing non-conforming, but we're reducing, bringing it closer to the ordinance. You're unoccupied, we're very close to what's required, and it's only an 8 square foot change from what exists today. With regard to the side yard setbacks, again, we're aligning with what exists today. So it's really no adverse impact on the neighbors to either side. With regard to the negative criteria for all, we think that the architect has done a great job in making the building that's cohesive architecturally and feels perfect at the site. We think that the benefits outweigh the detriment. As we'll go back to, this is an updated, what we had last time. This is photo board number 2.
But this is new?
We had a photo board 2. I've updated 2 of the photographs.
Yeah, so this is going to be A9.
Hang on.
You put this together yourself?
They did?
I'm sorry, what was the date?
The date, these were, the date would be today, July 20.
Got
Most of these photos, unless I'll otherwise say, were taken on April 27th. So, I won't, the first couple of photos across the top are, unchanged. It does show the buffering between us and the tennis club, between us and the neighbor behind, and it shows both the generous, landscape buffering between our property and the closest residence, which is, blocked partially by their garage, and the house is much further back with this landscaping between. If we look at photograph number 4, this is from the previous exhibit. You'll see the house to our, looking at the picture to the left, you can see that house is L-shaped with a large gap, and that's where the patio is, and I'll talk about that in a second. So the area that would be affected to the house immediately to the left from the rear or the right from the street, it's really not an area that is affected by the addition. In fact, with the permission of the neighbor, we go to photograph number 5. This is a new photograph we've added in. This is where my client went onto the neighbor's property at 49 Chestnut and looked back toward the property to show this is from their patio, this is the existing house, and there'll just be a minor 5'9" extension onto the back of that. Really has no impact. That is to the northwest of them, so there's no adverse impact on air, light, or open space. The neighbor's not here because they were quite comfortable with it. Allowed my client to go on the property, take some pictures to demonstrate that there really is no impact to the neighbor, and that's why we showed photograph number 6. So in summary, we think the improvements are consistent with the established character of the house and the neighborhood. It is a non-conforming lot, significantly undersized. We think that the zoning is about preserving the character of neighborhoods. The HPC is the body that we look to preserve the character of the neighborhoods in the historic zone. They unanimously approved it, actually with one abstention, but unanimously otherwise approved it. Our proposal would advance the purposes of the zoning plan, the benefits we think significantly outweigh the detriment. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rich. Any questions from the board?
Just quickly, how far are you from the structure that you're going to build to 53 Chestnut, which is, I guess, that's the house that's closest to you, because it looks like 49 is pretty far.
A7. So let me grab a scale. I'll tell you that. So if you look at the little tan area is where we're expanding, it's a 2-story addition, so that's where we're expanding the footprint. So that to the patio is about 21 feet into the actual dwelling. It's about 23 feet. Again, this house looking out under the patio towards the tennis club in the rear, and we're setting it in slightly. And just infilling that one portion, these 2 portions that are in blue to the right, to the bottom of that, tan area are where we're adding second story into the structure. And again, in the back, that's where we're getting that, 5'9", addition and leaving 4'4", got rid of the balcony in the back, so we pull that in, and that's one where the patio sits around this tree. We're 32 feet from the patio to the closest part of our house, and then 16 feet back on the angle to the closest part of the addition, about 36 feet from the neighbor at 49. So we're really
Yeah,
biased
49
it
as well.
away from the neighbor at 53, and there's really no negative impact to the neighbor at 41.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Keller from the board? Okay, any questions? Questions only from the audience? Okay. Yeah. Here, yeah. Anything, Doug, anything?
No, that's very much your comment.
Okay, any comments from the audience? If you'd like to comment, please come up this morning.
Just raise your right hand, do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give, proceeding the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Your name, spelling your name and your address.
Sydney, SIDNEY, EFR, OMO, BICH, 3600 Cliff. So
Wait, hold on a second.
36.
36 Undercliff Road, Milk.
Where is that in relation to the property?
So I live in South Mountain. And
First of all, before we get, spell your last name, yes, please.
it's tough. I didn't have a choice in it. It's.
Well, I mean, you do it, but you can't change.
Well,
it.
fair point, fair point.
Fair point.
So F is in Frank, R is in Romeo, O is in Oscar, M is in Mike, O is in Oscar, V is in Victor, I is in India, C is in Charlie, H is in Hotel. At Promovich. I
Thank
think
you.
it's- Yeah,
Go ahead.
All right, so you're not in this neighborhood, you're in another neighborhood.
I'm not in this neighborhood, I'm in another neighborhood, but we just had the second family that was really close to us that moved out of Milburn because it couldn't accommodate the modern family. And they're one of our favorite families in this town. They have 3 kids, they're a couple, we do the math, and it just feels so obvious that they need that extra room. And the thing that I was asking Judd why his hairline was starting to look more like mine, and he told me that about the struggle of doing this here, and I just wanted to say, like, when we visit so many of these homes, this is a home that feels like it just gives you that feeling that it makes you proud to be in this town that has such a rich history. They've worked so hard to maintain the character, the feel, the way they interact with their neighbors. And I understand that there's reasons why maybe some people would feel uncomfortable with this, but as I think of, this is where I want to grow old. And these are the families that I think we want more of in this town. And I really hope it's a project that gets going, just because I think it makes our town better.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Jordan?
Hi.
David.
Raise your right hand.
Oh, yeah.
Do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give in tonight's proceeding to the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Your name and address for the record.
David Jacobs, JACOBS, 52 Linden Street.
And where is that in relation?
Perspective, I'm directly behind Judd's house, so everything that he's doing faces out to me.
Okay,
I'll start by saying he's one of the best neighbors I've ever had, and an amazing family. And there's no way we'd like to lose them at all, and I think their plan overall makes terrific sense. Just as background, I went through the process of taking a 1903 Tudor that was effectively had fallen apart, and we added a garage. Thank you, you approved it. That now faces to his back house, and we also added in our back much in the way they're proposing. Slight differences, but a similar concept. I think his plan, having looked at the details, having spoken with Judd, is really great. It doesn't impede in any way on our property, and we look at it right out into their space. It's very modest in terms of how it's been adjusted for the house. The garage itself, and it's our garage, it basically lines up to it. So, he got me back on that. So, but it makes sense, it really does make sense, and I think one of the things that came through as we went through our process was the town encouraged us to have a garage. In fact, they told us to make it larger at the time than we thought we needed to be, to make it suit the space. So I think overall, the plan makes a lot of sense. I also think the landscaping is excellent. We've really struggled with landscaping in the area because of obviously the rains, floods and everything. They've just done a nice job. I think it makes total sense and I'd be really, total support, and I'm the guy that looks right into it. Thanks.
Thank you, very helpful. Okay, anything else? Yeah. Okay, so.
Wait, this,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Yep.
Wait, just.
Yeah,
Please
swear
swear
in.
in testimony about the giving at Wall Street, not Wall Street. Name
Name
and
is Maple Shop, MEPHUL, last name is SHAH. I live at 57 Chestnut Street, so in the same neighborhood as him. He is a wonderful neighbor, he is a wonderful person, his kids are wonderful. I wake up on the weekends, walk my dogs, I see his 3 kids out playing, riding their bicycles, doing whatever. Absolutely wonderful act of the neighborhood, it would be an incredible loss. Decided, so just putting that out there, I thought that really retest the look at the historical map, it's never there, so we got a rough deal on this one. The lot size, I get it, but he's making a beautiful house, it's gonna fit in with the neighborhood. Really, you should really stick around.
Thank you. All right. So we have, we go to D variance here, which means it will require 5 votes.
So Eileen, who's eligible to vote on this application?
Well, this was, they started from the beginning, correct?
Well, what we have been doing is we have been assuming that it is a continuation because we're marking additional exhibits. We didn't have them separately sworn in because they were sworn in at the last meeting where they testified, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, we have 5 affirmative, we have 5 votes that are eligible.
If it's a continuation.
It's a continuation.
David, Roy, Regina. Darren. Regina was at. 7.
Sorry, I just
Wait.
wanted to say, I think we,
Hold on one second. Sure. All right, let's just finish this line of discussion.
Stephen and Delina were absent on April 7.
Is this from,
this was February.
February
that's-
2nd, it's February 2nd.
February 2nd.
Yeah.
So testimony on the 27th?
No,
No.
The only one, not eligible would be, well, sorry, was not a member of that, and Beth was absent.
we don't even have 5 members, I
1, 2, 3, 4. Karen, Sue. No, you was absent.
So how many members do we have?
David, Regina. Steve, and Karen.
So.
Was not here on the second.
What's that?
don't. We have requested permission to start our application from the beginning, knowing that we wouldn't have enough board members to vote. And if we need to do more to produce the rest of the exhibits, now we're happy to do that.
Here's the thing. So if we're going to, not make clearly, because we were continuing exhibits from the last hearing, guys, right? And so if we're gonna do that, and you're gonna base the board's decision on just what happened tonight, it would only be those exhibits that were referenced this evening, right? I would ask, to preserve the record, that the witnesses be qualified in terms of their expertise. And if you're comfortable with that, you're basing the determination not on the last hearing on February 2nd, but exclusively on tonight's testimony and evidence, that's up to the applicant.
Yeah, we're totally comfortable with that. Our objective in doing the application we did was to respect everyone's time and knowing there's a lot of people here, we would need to also present their applications.
Okay. So with that, why don't you both come on up? Mr. Miller, please provide your qualification with board licenses, expertise, and experience in the field of architecture.
Yes, Douglas Miller from AHM Architects, located at 281 Main, Burnham, New Jersey. Been a licensed architect since 2001. My license is in good standing. I've made numerous presentations to this board as well as boards in the surrounding.
You look very, very familiar,
Uh-huh.
and your license remains in good standing as you
License
stated,
does
correct?
remain.
Okay, Mr. Keller,
Yes.
please provide your credentials to the board.
I'm a licensed professional engineer and planner in the state of New Jersey since 1990. I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Rutgers University with a concentration in water resources and environmental engineering. I have a master's degree from New Jersey Institute of Technology.
Mr. Keller, this sounds very familiar. Have you been qualified before this board in the past?
Since 1990.
Okay, your license remains in good standing.
Just got a brand new license in the mail 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations. Okay, any questions about the qualifications of either one of you? Okay, and you guys, both of you understand and agree pursuant to the statement made by the applicant himself that this application will be relying exclusively on the evidence, testimony, and exhibits presented to the board this evening.
Yes, correct.
Correct?
Right.
Okay,
Okay,
how about that?
so it works, okay, so we're gonna close the public portion and then, hear from, board members. What are your thoughts?
I'll go first. Thoughtful plans here. I think it's, first of all, it's a very charming house. I think the suggested improvements enhance the property that's already very charming. I don't think I can talk about that you've reduced everything since we're starting from fresh, but just know that's what I'm thinking, but I can say. So, and I would approve this application.
Ross?
I would certainly, separating in my mind all the stuff I know from the previous meeting
Yeah.
and relying solely on what's presented here tonight. Separate I have to separate the garage, I think, because I think that's something that's very desirable. And they're not asking for more than what we require, the garage, and I think the rest of it's been done in a very, if you're not gonna do, this is about as small as you can do and do something. If you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do anything. So I'm very supportive.
Well,
This is my first time hearing the application. Sorry I haven't met you sooner. We are neighbors. I also have 3 children. Apparently you're great neighbors. That said, regarding the application, I appreciate not only that you went through the process to get the historic approval. I think the application is pretty considerate of neighbors, 360. So, thank you.
I'll be supportive too. I appreciate the applicant sacrifice other things to just keep some major thing. I support it.
Yeah, just based on what I saw today, tastefully done. And 296, at a 452, 6.5% conceived by the garage. So I think for me, it's
okay, great. All right,
I'm
would you like us
supportive.
to?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Are we doing the FAR separate from the rest of one motion?
While you would typically do the vote separate, it didn't seem like there was anybody who was opposing, so I think we can do this.
Make a motion to approve the variance.
Second?
All in favor? Oh,
No, no,
yeah,
no.
sorry.
Trying to get this.
Sorry. Getting into it, okay.
David Bradford.
Yes.
Roy New.
Yes.
Regina Truitt.
Yes.
Maxwell.
Yes.
Melina Ross.
Yeah.
Steve Cohen.
Yes.
Karen.
Yes. Luck with the project.
Thank you very much.
Let's get my neighbor that you must. Yeah, you must be having good parties.
Okay, moving right along, next matter, calendar number 407626. Damian Pasternak at 112 Fairfield Drive.
No. We're definitely investigating the city, get the three, all three, another three.
I do. Thomas Bayo, Baio, architect of the applicant.
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah. Second. This is, so, this is a new application, correct?
Because I haven't heard.
Brand new application. Before we get started into the substance of the application, you wanna make a statement, Mr. Mayo, regarding the circumstances that bring us here tonight?
Yes, the circumstances are to get a second car garage.
Okay, wait. Before we talk about the application, let's talk about procedure. So I noticed that you're not here with your client.
Yes,
Correct?
that's right.
Why don't you explain to the board and the public why it is that you're not here with your clients?
All right, Damian and Agnes Pasternak recently suffered the loss of Aggie's mother. And they are now gonna go on the limb here in Poland, attending to the services for the burial of her mother. They asked if I can go forward, and I inquired as to whether or not power of attorney would be acceptable. I've since obtained it from my client. I'd like to present that to you to see if that is acceptable.
So as the board and the public are likely aware, if you bring an application for development for this board, it is incumbent upon you as the applicant to be present. And the reason for that is so that the board or the public may have questions of the applicant. And also, there may be an opportunity at some point in the proceeding whereby the board or even member of the public may ask whether a modification can be made to the plan. And if the applicant is not there, then the professional cannot consult with the applicant to find out if that's acceptable or not acceptable, why accept. However, given these extenuating circumstances that Mr. Bailey just described, I was contacted, the staff was contacted, and I believe that providing a limited power of attorney would be appropriate here, and I did ask Mr. Bailey, and asked him to confirm for the record right now that, should the board or the public have questions, if you feel comfortable responding to those questions, I'll be happy.
I do.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mark A1 as the limited power of attorney. Okay, so we have that on the record. And then why don't we get, Mr. Bailey, you sworn in, you qualified?
Okay, qualified, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Thomas Baio. I've been an architect here in town since 1991. I've been licensed to practice all 35 of those years. I remain in good standing with the Board of Architects as a licensed architect.
Qualifications are accepted. See?
Great, thank you. We have one variance tonight. We did hand out photographs. I want to confirm that your packets included those photographs.
They do.
They did. Okay, so I'm going to refer to the existing photograph unchanged. This is the residence of Damian and Agnes.
Okay, so what you're referring to, there's just two, photos?
Yeah.
Okay, right, so this is, we're not gonna mark it, it's already part of the application package.
Right. So effectively, they have an existing garage here. That existing garage is only 13 feet wide. I don't know why, but it's a 2-car garage, but it's only 13 feet wide. They park in the driveway. They now also have a 16-year-old, and he's about to begin driving. The idea is to put another garage directly next to the existing garage, and I'm referring to my cover sheet.
The existing garage is marked in red. Both new garage is marked in green. The lot,
It's not exactly next to it, I mean, it's separate, isn't it?
yes, it is,
Yeah.
it's a skew. Yes, and the existing garage is 41.6 feet from Sinclair Terrace, the proposed new one is 44 feet, so it's a little further back from the street. The variance is for the garage door to face the street. That if this garage is parallel with the other garage, they both face the street. And that the existence of a garage facing the street does not itself allow for this intensification of yet another garage facing the street. So we are before the board to get approved for the construction of a second two-car garage
Facing the street.
facing the street. The lot is 39,378 square feet, whereas 20,000 square feet is the zone, significantly oversized. We have no other variances, it's the R4 zone. A lot of the houses up here have three-car garages. So the two-car garage, in addition to the 13-foot wide one-car garage, is not the subject of a variance. Just the front-facing nature of constructing another garage.
Why don't you talk about the impervious coverage that is required by having a second two-car garage?
Sure, the existing lot coverage is 8650 square feet or 21% of the lot, 35 is the max. We are gonna go from 21.9 to 26%, so we're gonna go up 4.1%, but 5.1%. 4.1%, I'm sorry. Or going from 8650 to 10,258. That is entirely the structure and the additional impervious for the turnaround. Mitigating the front-facing nature of the house, of the garage, we are planting a series of trees so that the visibility of the doors themselves, while currently you can see a garage, the new garage is designed with landscaping to buffer that experience. So there's some improvement there, and that goes to the positive element of this whole thing, that adding additional car garages meets elements of our master plan, which require that we have off-street parking in a garage. One car garage is not satisfactory for a family of 5, and right now they have 3 cars. And I would say that approval of this new 2-car garage is a betterment. Keeps the cars out of the driveway, off the street, that the addition of landscaping to buffer it certainly helps in that regard in terms of shielding it, and that this board has the ability to grant us this C variance for the construction of an additional garage front facing door.
Questions?
Yeah, can you speak to the topography of where the garage, the proposed garages?
Yes.
With respect to the street and how tall the shrubbery that you're proposing?
So the topography is generally flat. There's almost no major topographic transition from the street to the current garage, and the same will be true for the new garage. The landscaping we're proposing, 6-foot arborvitae, tightly laid, which in about 3 to 5 years produces a fairly significant wall.
Okay, we're trying to figure out, because we don't have the red and green sample. So we're
I
trying to
can
figure
answer
out,
that as an
the
exhibit.
red one is underneath the house, correct?
Yes,
The existing
the
one.
red is existing.
And the green one,
The green one is
the
the
green one's the
proposed,
proposed new one.
yes,
And is it going to be single story or
single story.
single story?
Yes.
Is that's not a rendering, that's what it's the existing.
That's what it looks like today, the
That's
new
right.
garage.
Do you have a rendering of what it'll look like from the outside? maybe?
Yes, there should be an elevation from each other.
Tom,
Thank you.
why don't we mark, I thought you had this colored.
Yeah, we don't have that one.
So why don't we mark as A1, A2, oh, right, A2, thank you. A2 is,
What's it called?
is the power of attorney.
Oh,
So A2 is gonna be the colored, variant. Right?
yes.
Here we go.
Okay,
And that's, the date of that is
the date of this plan is
April 15th.
April 13th, 2026.
Okay, just a minute to do.
So, Mr. Pruitt, I'm gonna, ask you to turn
Yeah,
to page A4.
some of my colleagues did not get it.
Oh,
because,
okay.
yeah, so
I'll
we're-
turn this.
Yeah.
I have the elevations, and on sheet A4, you will see the
Yeah.
bottom left, the construction of a two-car, single-story garage. That's further depicted in the rear yard elevation, which also ensures that it stays as a one-story structure with a roof height not exceeding. I have the plate height at 10 feet, the roof's probably another 4. I'm gonna go on the limb saying 14 feet.
This is a corner site, right?
Well, that's a great question. Is Fairfield Drive on St. Clair, the backyard fee on this property? The difficulty is, the only place I can place it is to eliminate the pool and drive in so that it comes in from this side. From the rear side,
Is this an oversized lot, undersized lot?
oversized by significant amounts. It is 39,378 in a zone that requires 20.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, any questions from the audience? Okay, anything going on?
Nope, that's it, thank you.
All right, close the public portion, if anyone have any thoughts?
Yeah, Gary, you drive around Sinclair and Fairfield, and you kind of, within 10 or 15 houses in any direction. There's a fair number of street facing garages. There's also a number of the ones that enter the side of the house, they're clearly visible from the street. So I don't find this to be odd in this neighborhood at all. A lot can certainly accommodate. They should have at least another garage. It'd be silly to run it all the way around. You know, run the pavement all the way around, so it's getting in that way. I think this is very sensible.
Any other comments?
I agree with that. I'm just gonna say, that you described the existing garage is inadequate to meet modern cars. And as you pointed out, no matter where you put that garage, unless you take out the pool, it's gonna be, which I think would be an excessive act. So I'd be okay with this.
Yeah, I have less problem with the fact that it's plant based. I mean, I think, it is three car garage permissible, in that zone anyway, so, I think you've got plenty of time, so I don't have any issues. Any other comments? All right. Motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the variance.
Question?
Second.
Yes.
Virginia Truitt,
Yeah.
Roy New.
Yeah.
Beth Sol,
Yes.
Jamie Robbins,
Yes.
Cohen,
Yes.
Karen Reese.
Yes. Project.
Thank you, board.
And we're sorry to hear about.
Yes.
I'll pass along your condolences. After that.
Okay.
And an exhibit for whom?
All right, next up.
Are you able to, get an electronic version of that color, so I don't, or see?
Oh, wait, electronic version means I gotta take a picture of it. If I hand it to her, I don't have the ability to make it electronic. But if she takes a picture in the office.
All right, next up, we have calendar number 4093-26, 17 Administrative Road, Sharma and Mari. Come on up. All three of you are gonna be testifying.
Everybody raise your right hand. If you're gonna testify. Before from testimony you're about to give tonight's proceeding, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes. State your name.
Rajesh Sharma.
Just tell us.
R for Robert, A for Apple, J for Jack, E for Edward, S for Sam, H for Henry, S for Sam, H for Henry, A for Apple, R for Robert, N for Mary, S for
Rajni Kumar, R E F H M I A U M A R.
Thomas Samir, architect. Sam.
Okay, going first, Don,
Yes,
the qualifications.
registered architect.
Keep your voice up.
Architect, registered in 1988, architect. 2012,
The license is in good standing.
it is.
You testified before boards and you qualified.
I have.
In both, and you're testifying tonight on the disciplines of architecture and planning.
Yes.
Qualifications. Please proceed.
We're here for two variances tonight. One is for the rear yard setback, and the other is for a front yard fence. Oh, I see. Started with an overview, this is the existing house, the new house. All the side yards, front yard. Coverages, they're all. It's not that it's a small piece where you, 100 square feet. That's population. And the rest of the house being somewhat. That's I'm not gonna cover that. Here, there's the cottage. There's the rear, required rear yard setback. There's the actual setback. So required is 60. 46.9. At this point here, where the frontage starts, it's 19. And the existing rear yard setback is 16. 76.
You show the board based on the renderings on Route 1 where the bottom fence located.
Yeah, right.
But don't draw on it.
So the reason for the variance is the location of the house. It is contributing house to the historic register. That's to be approved. Well, I think. Yeah. The house is minor alterations. Where value. The upstairs got taller, so this moved up by 20 feet. Second. All of that, the total of all that is 28 feet. And we round to it's just. And there's the.
I'm sorry, what were the dimensions of it?
Potting shed,
Yes.
7.5 feet by.
So I'm sorry, I'm just confused a little. So is the potting shed making the rear yard setback worse or better, even though it's still not conform?
It is. Okay, so. It is within the rear yards. So it's not really like worse
Yeah.
or better, it's just
It's just.
in the middle.
Just.
Hello, so question, where is this, there's a staircase that goes from the ground to the second story. In one place it says it's in the rear, but then on the second page it says it's in front. So I know it must be difficult because the
Okay,
house, the
so-
house is on a interesting angle.
Yeah.
Is it in the front?
Potting shed,
No, the staircase.
the
I know
staircase.
that's not part of it, I'm just curious where that's,
Okay.
just to
so
get my bearings.
This is the front, this is the street.
That's menacing.
Walk the window. Sort of.
Okay.
Back.
Okay,
So.
And
this is the
second-
front
second
house. This is
question.
the main entrance to that.
okay, second question, how tall is the fence, proposed fence?
Close fences.
6 feet all the way. And why 6? Why 6 instead of
Why
4?
6 feet?
Still up there.
Why 6 feet on top?
So I can say like, we are looking for a fence, like David went today, like, so the fence will be not visible from the street at all. Okay, the fence will not visible because there are already 12 feet, 60 feet plants are there already. So it will be behind them, not in front of them. And neighbors have a 6 feet fence, so it will match the neighbor fence.
So. Redraw, John, whatever, but. Was there. Currently. On the order. of 12 feet. So. This is, we come in the gate. And the ridge vegetation. There are 2 level trees, one is back on front.
Can you show us where the fence is going to go? I'm a little confused about this.
Hold on a second, hold on. So what you're just showing us, that I see in A3, and I think I stuck peek in A4. In my packet, I got an A1 and a A2 that does not look like that A2. So,
This was a historic.
all right, well, hold on a second, hold on. You're gonna rely on documents that are not before the board, we need to mark them. Especially if you're gonna refer to them. So, why don't you go back? Which? Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. So far, you know, you submitted to the board, you submitted to the board A1 and A2. Dated the revision date, last revision date of February 17, 2026, right? You have additional exhibits you want to show them.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we mark this as A1? And it looks like some form of landscaping.
It's existing.
Okay, existing. And what's the date on that existing landscaping plan?
9/30/25.
We're gonna mark that as A1, so why don't you tell us why we're looking at that?
It's gives you the best view of the fence. So the fence starts. Right now, there's
Is the fence depicted on that A1?
yeah, well, the gate is.
But It's not installed yet, is it? Okay.
Starts here, there's currently a board on board fence that's going apart. That'll be replaced by all the rest of the existing fences are metal fences. The new fence is gonna replace the section here and all the way to the front. Across the front, including rows of bushes, shrubs. But back to a gate here. It's sitting on the street. So behind the road, it's just like things.
So it's not on the property line, it's back.
It's back.
Mine says both.
Is that from the cartway or from the right of way? Right of way?
And if I can ask another question for everyone. The gate will be in the front yard as well?
Yes.
And just a question, why does the gate need to be pretty much the perimeter of the property?
I will answer this question. So if you will see our property, it is not like any normal property on the street. It's all the way, house is all the way in the back. And our front yard is basically our backyard. So it's covered by all the neighbor areas and it has a high pitched floor. So it's a safety hazard for my kids. Currently, whenever they are outside, we park our car in the back. So that when they are cycling or playing, they do not rush out. Otherwise, they can just, if they are cycling and they go a little higher, they would not stop, cars are good. And David has seen it, he can vouch for that, that is the speech. And that's the reason we are looking.
I have a,
Okay. Mark that as A2, what is it?
it's a sort of precedence.
Well, you gotta speak louder and clearer for,
Okay.
what is it?
It's a precedent study of fences and gates.
Precedent study of fences and gates. Okay, so this is about, this is a series of 9 photos. And you took these photos?
Today.
9 photos. And
Do you need one more? Was it extra?
Tom, do you have a 2x3 photo board of this or no?
No. Okay. Good.
And what's the purpose, the front, the fence, precedent?
Okay.
Photo board of 9 photos is intended to show what?
Okay, so there's 3 conditions that seem to justify a fence in this area between Stewart, Mason, and all of them are on roads that they don't have open grassy views of this neighborhood. They're dense, forested sort of areas. There's a lot of vegetation on both sides of the street that hide a fence and ultimately it's a gate. The other is, some of them are going to homes where you've got a complicated path to the house, bluff, soil, stone dust that needs some level of protection. And then the last one is the houses are a large distance over 100 feet. So those 3 things apply to the top three are the houses in question. The character of the road with all the vegetation going in each direction, in the middle of the driveway, going up to a house you can't see. Middle right, it's a view looking at the forest at the house, which that you can't see the house in the house can't see. And the other two are other cases that had some problems. And they're the two lower, in the middle column, the lowest in the middle. And those fences are Stewart. Actually, both Stewart, but right in the neighborhood. And then right at the end of Minnesink is the lower right one, which has just a very long shot of the house. Probably 300 feet. And the lower right is it just shows the vegetation density. The other part of the other part of this. So what we're saying is there is a prohibition against front yard fences. There are a good number of recently built front yard fences. They don't affect the neighborhood, they're not intrusive, they don't feel like they're blocking things off because what you see is vegetation, not the fence. But they keep people from driving up very long driveways to make an upward entrance to the house. And they protect kids from coming out. And helps keep everybody safe.
Just a question, definitionally, are you defining a gate as a fence? You're using the same term, because in the
No.
lower right one, I can't tell if there is a fence, it's just hard to see, I don't see one, but I only see pillars.
Yeah.
And then in the very center one, I definitely see a gate, I just can't tell if there's a fence. I'm just trying to understand.
So I only took pictures of gates that were fences. However, that one gate had the requisite attachments for the fence, so it's almost there. So then that's its door right at the end.
The two bottom left, the bottom left corner and the bottom center, you're telling us that there are fences behind those,
Yes,
those bushes, but we can't see.
the left one.
So you're testifying that there are fences behind.
Not the bottom left, but the bottom center. The bottom left has a bunch of fences on the street.
There's a bunch of fences where?
In the short view, the right, the front of the one on the lower left, the bushes closest to the road on the right are. This was supposed to be a large colored board. So.
Sorry to ask so many questions about the fence, but I am concerned about the fence. The children don't play on that slope, correct? The forested slope, they play back here mostly, the back of the house?
Well, there's a playground in the upper portion, but they ride.
Right, but they're not playing down by Minnesota.
They're riding bikes down the road.
They're riding bikes down the road, okay,
Yeah.
but
It's
on
like,
the road,
yeah,
on the road,
So like, it's a driveway which is long and
Yeah.
it comes,
I saw it.
sometimes they hit the soccer, you play soccer and bicycle, most of the time, they come very fast, they come so fast that
Yeah, that's-
anything can happen, like David has seen, today he went there, so he knows what kind of a structure, but very, very dangerous, once my kid almost came under the car.
So my question is,
Yeah.
why couldn't you put the fence further up the hill and contain the children actually in a safer?
That doesn't make sense at all.
Why?
Oh, because if you go my house, you see in the front there are first is in the neighborhood there are the gates already there are property, I can give you the address where already there are gates. Like,
Well, we're just talking about your
yeah,
property.
and the second thing is, on the back, it doesn't make sense, then you are saying that the half of the whole property will be totally out. Away,
But it would be substantially back from Minnesota.
it will be totally 100 feet up, and it doesn't make sense there.
But how far off is the proposed fence from Minnesota?
Oh, it will be minimum, I think 15 feet.
Do you know how many feet back from Minnesota it's
The
proposed?
way
to
it's
be?
drawn is, well,
12 feet from Minnesota.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And why 6 feet and not 4 feet in front?
It just, see, 4 feet, 6 feet, it doesn't matter because it will not be visible at all from the street. It doesn't, you put a fence, it is not visible even a single inch of the fence. And neighborhood has 6 feet, so it is just matching the same style, same color, that is the reason.
one of the reasons this makes sense is because this house ends up
In the middle of what?
in the middle of the block. There's a house here, a house here. By the time you get up here, you're in everybody's backyard. There are 5 pools.
Yeah.
Grounds. And closing that off the street is that. And they are matching fences. Gives you a level of protection from people invading the entire block.
I think the pools are required.
Pools on,
Yeah.
of the house.
Okay, any other questions? The architect?
One thing I want to just add that the fence, it will not be visible at all.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, it's very dense, and it's already there, it's not that we have to plant something, it's already there. And the gate we are looking for mainly for our safety of my son. And it's there in the neighborhood, that's what I said.
Understood.
So, the rear setback, it's typical to C1 variance because of the existing structure. The fact that it's contributing house also makes it harder to demolish. So that's a option. Fence for the safety reasons. Some of the aesthetic ones. See much.
Question, when you mentioned prohibiting fence, that means neighbor's fence. You
Yeah,
already have-
so the neighbors have. They start right here. It's all matching. So all. That fence. And the gate's far enough around from the roads.
Was your testimony that the neighbors on both sides have like essentially adjoining sort of fences, like that this has a kind of a break?
Any other questions?
So like the neighbors' fences, do they come down to Minnesota Road? Are they 12 feet from Minnesota?
No, they're stopping.
They're what?
They're.
Why don't you show on a bigger survey, go over the bigger survey, please.
This dark line.
So the neighbor's fences, how far back from Minnesota?
It's up to you. This is neighbor fence, the whole thing is neighbor fence.
What is the neighbor's fence setback from this? Like, how close does it come to your road, is the question, right?
The front setback, which is.
That's what I meant when I said our relations both sides.
120.
It's hundred and twenty-one feet back.
In the right side, and what about on the other side?
On the other side, it's it goes up, it starts. This side, the other one. Neighbors. This is a stone.
It's a high wall.
So you're talking about what's going along the side of the property, or you're talking about what's on Minnesota?
So, on the side of the property.
I'm not, we're asking on
Minnesota.
this.
But I think we're asking about.
The question is how far back.
You got a
from
fence,
this-
you wanna put a fence along the road on Minnesota, about 12 feet back, right? Your neighbors have similar fences near Minnesota that run along the road. They don't, so you.
Here,
Right, so there's no fence along Minnesota. If you're aware of the neighborhood that run parallel to this.
At 12 feet back.
they are not adjacent to this property. There are other fences.
Okay, any other questions on the board? Okay, any questions only from the audience? Okay, any comments?
And next, the questions could be for the architect or anyone.
Yes, anyways, okay. Any comments from the audience? Okay.
One thing I will add is his house still like after all this will be the smallest house in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Just to add. additional
Okay.
point.
Can I go back to something? Why does the fence in the front need to be 6 feet?
Last.
David, 4 feet is not a problem, it's just to match the, if you will see around our house, it was 6
I've
feet
been
fence
around the
coming,
house,
yeah. So that's just to match it, if you say that in the side keep 6 and in the front go 4, I don't see a problem. But it's just that, just to match the structure, look good. If you are looking at that, the entire house looks like, if you look into me, the entire house looks like that you are running short on materials and there is a mismatch. Because of historical district, people are already having it. It's just to give the visual look at that.
But you can't see that in the road anyways, right?
We are seeing it
I
when
know,
we are
so I
inside.
understand you're seeing it,
Yeah.
from the road, you wouldn't see
No,
whether it's.
from road you will not see.
Okay, done?
Yes.
Okay, so let's close the public portion, what do people think?
All right, I'll go first.
You are,
You're looking at me.
you don't have to, I
Okay.
usually let you go first.
So thank you for your testimony. I can see the hardship with the adding one to the addition that you want. You are very far back on the property, so I'd be okay with that one. The fence, I am, unfortunately would not be approving. I feel like it's definitely too big of an ask to go all the way out to Minnesink. It would be very visible, given the slope, it would be in front of the slope and only 12 feet back, especially in consideration, there's no other houses in the neighborhood, drove by it today. I would, but it wouldn't have to be 6 feet tall. 4 feet is actually the limit when they're front facing. So for me, that fence, there's no pool. I can understand you want to contain the children, and there is a concern for that, but you haven't proven to me the reason that you need a fence all the way around that's 6 feet.
No, we're done. Anybody else have comments?
I have no issues with, I mean, this topography of the property, and they basically dictated the buildings, where it is. And so, and there's plenty of scope for whatever they're doing to the building. I don't really have an issue with the potting shed, it's just, it's not gonna get in the way of anything. If the fence is just to match the size, I don't know why it has to be 6. If there's 4, I'd be supportive of it.
Or in front of, on this.
Yeah, well, yes, but 12 feet back puts it behind a lot of it.
Yeah.
Wait, so you would be.
So I'm,
David,
as it
supportive.
stands, I would be against the fence as it stands. I would be okay for a bit, for both of them.
All the way around.
Well, the other side, most of this has already got a 6-foot fence from the other.
So
properties.
the 4 foot would be in the front.
Yeah.
Parallel to this.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff on the left side of the property should face the house. It's neither here nor there to me because of the wall. You know, you're putting a fence up against the wall or a couple of feet away from the wall, it's correct. It doesn't, it's purely aesthetic to me from that state. And they're the only ones with the aesthetic, because obviously the people on top of the wall aren't looking at it.
All right, any other comments?
My concern is, even the fence is only 4 feet tall, the gate will still be visible. The gate will still be visible.
As far as I know, the gate is.
A gate is permitted. So that's.
The gate's not permitted in the front, correct?
It's still a fence.
Yeah, it's still,
Yeah.
it's not permitted.
If you see a gate, you assume there's a fence along, that's why.
Well, sort of, we heard testimony
But,
about, you know, balls coming down the driveway, children coming down, so a gate would potentially prevent that.
Or a 4-foot gate.
But having it all across the whole front where it's not permitted, that's the zoning ordinance, it's not consistent with properties in left and right. It's to me problematic.
Okay, any other comments? All right,
So, sounds like that no one's really opposed to the request for the rear yard setback.
Right.
Okay, and that people have varying views with regard to this front yard fence. So, when we make your motion, if anyone decides to make a motion, just be clear as to what you are proposing be approved by the board or modified.
yeah, well, that's a little challenge, we don't really know what.
We are comfortable with 4, if you say, yeah, so I'm saying if you are feeling that 4 feet is okay, we are comfortable with 4 feet, you know, we don't,
Well-
because it's not visible, we are okay.
Right, but I think some members have an issue with the 4-foot fence being along Minnesota, right along Minnesota.
Right, so that's what, so we understand, and I think the testimony was clarified before the board deliberated, that the applicant would be amenable to a 4-foot fence in the front along Minnesota. Right, and there still may be issues as expressed by the board. So it's about time somebody else should make a motion. Unless-
Do you wanna split the two?
Everyone do 2 votes?
Sure, you absolutely can do that. So,
Although if we vote on the fence variance,
well, no. What you'll do is you're gonna vote on the rear yard setback
yeah,
variance.
it's not if you want.
Right?
Yep.
So let's first vote on the rear yard setback. variance.
So can someone make a motion on the rear yard
I would
setback?
love to approve the application for the rear yard, so.
Okay, second?
I second that.
David Bradford,
Yes.
Virginia Truitt.
Yes.
Roy Hill.
Yes.
Beth Sol.
Yes.
Neil Roberts.
Yes.
Steve Cohen.
Yes.
Jerry Rose.
Yes. Okay. So you've heard the feedback. Might leave you on the fence to think about how you might do it differently.
Well, somebody can make a motion to approve, deny, or make a motion, I approve the fence provided blank, whatever blank is, can do that.
Yeah, at least I'm looking for
Well,
some
no,
guidance.
hold on a second. You have to
Public
say-
portion is closed.
Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
I would be worried to do that because I wouldn't, if they didn't have it in the front, I don't know where it would end up. So I couldn't visualize where it would be, so other than what's presented to us tonight, which is a fence 12 feet off of Minnesota, which is unlike the neighbors, that is all.
Which is 4 feet in height is.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
right. So, but I can't, even to propose something.
Okay. Someone should make a motion one way or another.
Can you give them the option of coming back or no?
Yeah.
So with a proposal, let's say it's 4 feet, it's gonna be back here.
Because a no is a no, right?
Because if they get a no.
Well,
then-
yeah, no is-
then they're- they're
Okay.
not doing it.
I would, yeah, well. I
think
You want to talk to your clients for 2 minutes? But no, guys, yeah, you talk amongst yourselves, outside the board, and make decisions.
Yeah. That's
so, yeah, I mean, appreciate it both.
Yeah.
No fence in the front. Okay, no fence in the front.
What?
Okay, that's okay, so as,
So the side yard fence is supposed to be 2. The front yard, and we'll go to 4 feet. The front setback. Package. Not ours. So 4 feet here, 4 feet there, nothing in front.
You're still gonna be 12 feet off of
Here
Minnesota?
it's old wall, already
Yeah.
there is 6 feet wall, so there is no point asking us to put 4 in the side, because there is already a wall if you want to. And that runs around our property.
so.
But will it be a gate?
Yeah, you have to have a gate
Yeah.
because of the
Right,
driveway.
Gate is wider because as we explained, it's a safety hazard and we are looking.
So. Let's go back for just a second, so we have to. Eileen, this is this variance that was requested, okay, was due to having a fence in the front yard. Prohibited front yard fence, okay, and so. The applicant is still proposing a fence along a portion of the front yard, correct?
No.
Well,
No.
okay.
They just now refuse, they're that money they
Okay, so the only thing you're asking for then is a variance for the gate with pillars on either side.
Yes.
Correct.
Side fence.
That's not the
Side fence is
front
not the
yard.
variance.
No, side is not the variance.
Well, it is because this is your front yard set,
Right, that's correct.
and this is the court, the average.
Anything else?
Particularly because once you offer.
Okay, so the only variance request you're asking of the board is for a 4-foot fence along the sides of the lot. Okay? Within the front yard, right, the defined front yard, but what is the minimum distance that the fence will be on either side from the right of way? Do we have that?
Yes. The average established front setback is 82. So it's 82.
82 feet, no closer than 82 feet to the right of way, correct?
Can you point on there where the right of way would be?
The right of way is. And this line is the 82,
Okay, so,
which is the average on the street.
Okay.
The house is way back.
so that dotted line there is labeled. Oh, it's got a label.
So that's the modified ask of the applicant.
Yes.
And that the height of the fence along the sides would be 4 feet,
6 feet.
right?
6 feet.
6
In the
feet.
side, in the side, yeah, because this is in the side next to the wall, which is already kind of.
What about on the eastern side?
This side we don't need.
This guy neighbor has their own fence, so
Neighborhood,
we
we
do not.
don't need any fence. This side we don't need any.
There is a pool and there is a pool house they have the fence running all the way up to main.
So the only relief you're asking for is to have a 6-foot fence along the western side of your lot within the front yard, but will not be closer than 82 feet to the right of way. Is that fair? In terms of the description of what the request is currently? Does the board understand? What's the gate?
No, I'm not completely clear.
Okay.
So the front yard will be 6 feet or 4?
So,
6 feet.
so there will be no fence at all parallel to this. That's number one.
Yes.
Number two, there will be no fence along the eastern lot line. Okay? I mean, no fence.
I don't think that's what
proposed.
he said though.
That's what he just said.
Okay.
On the western lot line, they're requesting a 6-foot fence, but that 6-foot fence will not be any closer than 82 feet to the right of way. The only other relief they're asking for,
All the way back.
the only other
Is there
relief
anything
they're
there at
asking
all?
for in connection with this application is to have a gate in the front yard surrounded by pillars.
How tall is the front yard?
6 feet.
Yeah,
That I will like 6 feet.
just like our neighborhood gate.
Position as it's drawn.
Yeah.
And how close is your gate to the municipal street?
It's 24 feet.
So it's not 22?
No, you said 12 originally.
No, this is 12 feet, this is 4 back.
So the gate's gonna be 12 feet.
The right side of the gate.
Right side of the gate looks like a close.
Yeah, it is.
This is the gate, yeah.
Yeah, it's 24 feet.
The gate's flat. It's not right side of the house.
Well, it goes at an angle.
But it's closer than.
Yeah, so if you want 25 feet, 24 feet for somebody to be able to leave.
Got it.
And that is close.
All right.
12 feet?
Oh, sorry, so there's nothing on this line then? You're not putting any fence in the front yard at all? Just a gate
Yes.
over the driveway?
Yes.
That's the same.
Why wouldn't the gate also be back?
Because in our neighborhood, we have gates just like that, that's why we want.
Because you can't really turn around. It's a narrow driveway.
If I will put
You can't turn around in all this
yeah, the
space?
place
Well,
was.
you'd have to go,
Yeah,
you'd
here.
have to, if you went up to the house,
Okay,
if you went up to the house, you could turn the car around.
right.
This
But if you
place
got a
is so
gate,
narrow.
you can't get to that.
Oh, they want to
turnaround.
prevent people from turning around in the driveway ever.
Want to prevent people they don't expect from driving all the way into the driveway.
So just a
People are
gate with
driving
pillars.
up Into their driveway.
Yeah, this place is so narrow that you have just one car space to go up this. If you are asking me to put a fence here or a gate here, that is not possible because it will make it so narrow that I cannot take my car.
All right, looks like their proposal is to have it 12 feet off, miss. Okay,
And then when you say that, that's a 6-foot gate with
6-foot gate with the pillars, plus the fence on the side of the 8 back from the right of way. So can we have a motion on that proposal? Talk about it, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve variance for the 6-foot gate with pillars at a position as drawn on the survey, and a side yard fence on the west side that comes from the backyard down to 82 feet from the right of way.
Thank you. Second. Okay,
David Redford,
Yes.
Jeannie Truitt,
No,
Roy You,
No.
Beth Shaw,
Yes.
Nomino Roberts.
Yes.
Steve Cohen,
Yes.
Harry Moose.
yes.
Thank
Okay. Next up, Lance Padel, 397 Milburn Avenue, calendar number 4094-26.
Never met, but I see you every morning, but
That's why my face is hopeless. I recognize you from flying it.
You have any, professional good?
Okay, yeah. Because I was told it wasn't required for what this is.
Okay.
I'm a lawyer, I can work.
But my wife is an attorney, should we need?
It's up to you. My wife is an attorney.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have my one.
That's too late. We're 32 years into that problem.
All right.
Just so you swear or testify about to give full treatment of just for name.
Lance, L-A-N-C-E, O-L-V-O-D, L-L. Thank you. Okay, so we are at 397 Milburn, which is the Hearth. And the apartment complex was built to have canopies only above the two commercial spaces in the front. Yeah, canopy signage is not allowed at Milburn. When the building was submitted, for some reason, there was never feedback given to them that they wouldn't be able to use that for commercial signage. We have no other options, so we're just asking to be able to put our sign on the canopy. I know there was a similar case with Willow on this recently. It's a similar situation. We can't unbuild the building and there's nowhere else for a sign that says the name of the school.
Yes, the relation to the property.
Yes, sure. So I am the renter of the space at 397 Milburn Suite A. There's another tenant moving to Suite B. And the landlord, it would tell you, but it would, I can't tell you, it just changed literally about a week ago to road management from another company. So the newest one is road management.
So what is road management? Is that just the property manager?
It is not. It is my understanding is they are a real estate development company that owns a number of properties throughout and other places, including Florida.
But they're not
Correct.
Milburn
Because-
property owner
That's
LLC.
correct. That's what I was trying to say, because literally 4 days ago, that changed. So I had no knowledge of it at the time when we submitted this. And I should make clear, Mark Yeager, who was part of the triumvirate that owned the building, is out, but one of the partners is still in. So it's not as if this is brand new, they've just reduced the number of people and now his company is taking over. It's basically that's what happened. And that happened in I think it happened at the beginning of July. We had already submitted all of this paperwork with the owner the way it was, but this owner that's there now was also an owner prior. So he hasn't changed. We've just removed it under.
Okay, so what's, when you say you're the renter?
Yeah.
I'll get to that.
Yeah.
You say you're the renter of space.
Yeah.
You're the proposed tenant for Pilates Addiction?
I am the tenant. We're in the space and we've been open for since May 1st-ish. And we've just not had a sign up because we had to go through the variance process. So we applied for a permit, we were denied because we can't have a sign on a canopy.
What is the size of this?
I can tell you that, so it is in here. The size of the sign, here I am playing arbitrary, is 12.7. The whole canopy is 19.6 1/4.
Wait.
Yeah. I can be very specific because it's in this drawing, which is in your booklet, 5.1 exterior sign. Take it out of here.
Right, so that's the 20 3/8, right?
Yes, I was showing, I know you're looking at another image, but just in case you want, this is an image from before, it shows the exact positioning of the sign on the entire canopy.
Well, no, Ms. David had asked a question.
I was asking a question, but the measurements are on there, this drawing, this image. The measurements are right here, and that's the measurement of the canopy, and this is the height, so it's that image.
You're like this figure is up by a 4 exterior sign.
Yes,
Dimensions on it.
that also,
Well, the problem is that what you just showed me doesn't have the sign on it.
next image, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And then the image that shows the sign doesn't
Yeah.
have a dimension.
That is correct.
So what we're trying
I see
to
that.
ascertain is, in response to Ms. David's question, if you just try to describe the dimensions of the sign.
So the sign in terms of width is 19 by 19.6. Sorry, I lied, 12.7. Long, let's just say long, and high, it is 4.7.
It's 20.
Yeah.
It's 20 inches.
When you say
I'm
12,
giving you the footage, yeah,
when you say 12, I'm looking right now
okay,
on one of your,
yeah, the other architectural drawing.
right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
I'm seeing in terms of the length,
Yeah.
in terms of the long,
In inches, yeah,
I'm seeing 56 3/4 inches, 75/8 inches.
right, so if you look at the bottom,
14, right, so 159,
Correct.
180. Okay?
yeah,
And so that corresponds to
To the
12,
correct.
7 inches.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the height is,
Is at max 20 3/8 inches. At the max, that's what is
So that's-
PA part of it, the rest pretty short. It's
So
10
that's-
and a half.
well, so that's 20 3/8 inches is 1 point whatever feet, correct?
Correct,
So,
that's correct.
Before we even go on, because Gary brought this up, so of course I've been searching everything. Okay, so the ordinance, which I explained, it says, ground floor commercial space only, the land shall comply with requirements of the B4 district, which doesn't permit this style of. So then I went back to the second, when Beehive came back to us. There were a number of amendments that, yeah, was making one of the amendments to the prior approval that were being sought. The addition, because they moved the entrance over, so it made 1,000 square feet available. So they were asking for the addition of a third retail sign measuring 10 feet by 1.5 feet, 15 square foot maximum. All it says is identical to the 2 signs previously approved. I don't know what they were.
That wasn't in the first resolution.
There's nothing that it may have been, and that's why I've been looking for that. So that's why I asked what the size was, because
Seems like the size is dictated by that variance. Planning board.
And potentially by the size of the canopy itself. Because the canopies are different, yeah. The canopy, well, just that the canopies are different sizes, so it's hard to figure out how they laid it out similarly and spacing.
For the 3,000 square foot retail space, because there's only 2 at the time. Along Woodland Avenue. The signs are designed in the same fashion as the residential signs, which is I guess, the hearth, which is.
it's on the corner.
Correct.
Do you know what the height of the hearth is?
The hearth is different. They are individual letters, so they're not on a race.
I understand.
Yeah, and I don't know the height of each of those because I can, of course, ask the
Well,
owner.
the same.
They
Those
are
signs-
actually my guess is they're
Says they-
taller,
yeah.
to be honest.
10
They
feet
look,
by 18.
they are much taller looking to me. They are actually
It says
fairly high.
15, it says
Oh.
10 by 18, 10
For-
feet long
for the
by
hearth?
18 inches high. And for a total area of approximately 15 square feet.
And that's on the hearth you're talking
Those
about.
are the retail signs.
Oh, so that's, there are no retail signs on the hearth.
That's what was approved.
Oh,
for
No,
those
but
two.
the planning board said there are going to be retail signs and these are the dimensions that they can be.
So.
Not on the canopy,
Wait, wait, wait.
just
On the
general.
canopy.
Yeah, no one has ever told
On
me
the
that.
canopy, yeah.
Wait, you guys?
Yes.
Sorry.
Conversation.
Okay, that's news to me. I had never been informed when we went to the town, not to your, we went to the landlord went to the business administration committee and said, why weren't we informed of this? When we built the building, said that because we're having hard time renting the space, why were we not told there would be a sign on the canopy? No one ever came back to him. Because I was on that email thread and said, it can be, but it has to look like this. So this is the first time I've heard of that.
Yeah, I just read it this
Yeah.
afternoon.
Yeah. So I don't know.
If you reduced it in size to 15 square feet.
So 15.
Seems like it has a variance.
10 feet by 18.
That's what I'm asking.
So if he reduces it to a size that was previously approved by the planning.
It doesn't need a variance, I guess.
Or you got a variance. effectively complying.
Oh, no, a pre-approved variance from prior, yeah, from the
Right,
building
we don't-
perspective,
we
right,
wouldn't
and we can
use
just
it.
live within the spec.
So then why were we denied?
So, well, yeah, that's, I just don't know,
Because I,
because you
was
can,
the recognition in the
Yeah.
second one.
and I don't have those measurements significantly different than mine. I'm just curious because I don't actually know. When you did square footage, you lost me on terms of laying this out in my head, with length and width and height. Actually, just length and height, literally width.
Ignoring your P, ignoring the P and the. Ignoring the P.
Correct.
10 by 18,
Exactly.
10 feet by 18 inches, you're 12 by 10 and a half.
So we are 12.7 by,
So the issue is squeezing the P.
right, we're similar size, actually, the way you're describing it, it's similar in size, it might be a few.
You're 2.5 feet
What?
long.
What, you did the math? On the commercial spaces, yes, correct. That's what you said, 10 by 18, Eileen?
10 feet by 18 inches.
For
10
a
feet, so
total
we
area
are-
of
15
approximately
square.
15 square feet.
Okay, so we're at 12 feet, 7 by,
And there's also,
Alright, so it's bigger.
it's a little bit bigger, yeah, it is a little bit bigger. I could probably shrink it to fit into those that size. and-
Was the size
Yeah.
for which variance relief is potentially required, was that noticed?
There wasn't a size notice because I don't have parameters for, all I have is guidelines for wall signs and, ground breadth.
Okay,
So I didn't have anything to measure
right,
this.
right.
So there was no, that's why it's in variance, and then it wasn't until this was.
Yeah.
So, you know, he wants to shrink it,
I mean, the sign is not significantly different, it feels appropriate for the size of the
The
canopy,
same way we
so.
decided we want to get a variance from what we're allowed.
But it
yeah, I don't
changed all
know, varies
that.
how material is it to you?
So this is what I.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
first of all, you should decide whether you wanna go with size sign that was apparently approved.
Yeah.
By the plan.
Yeah.
If you are, then you would get sign off by the new owner, and you would apply for a permit based
Right,
on that,
right,
citing
right.
to the planning board's resolution.
Yeah.
If you want to seek a variance.
Yeah.
I'm
It has to be a
asking,
variance for the variance,
well, but
essentially.
it's really a new variance.
Right,
And
okay.
I'm concerned that because it's no one's fault, wasn't noticed for it, and it doesn't provide the public with an opportunity to assess whether they want to come in or not. I think you'd have to get new data.
So-
And I am a little concerned about the fact that it's an oddball, that because the owner changed.
Yeah.
One of the prerequisites
Yeah.
of the ordinance is that you demonstrate that the owner has provided consent.
Yeah.
For this
So-
applicant to.
So I do have that because he is one of the owners, the owner that ended up with it is the same.
I understand.
The entity is different,
The entity
yeah,
is.
correct, that's
So
right,
that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So,
Okay.
so.
I hear you.
So you wanna talk to,
No, my attorney here,
Lawyers.
yeah, but actually, I'm gonna ask a couple of questions just to understand. So we are a business up and running, it's been a little difficult, no way to find us, right? So it is a challenge. The signage in shrinking it is 10.5 inches high right now, except for the PA. And I believe that's in the scope of what you share on height. Am I right about that? It is, right? So without the PA, we don't,
You don't need it.
it's just about length.
Yeah, you gotta squeeze it.
You gotta
Right,
squeeze
so
it.
the question is, are you okay if we ignore the height and go with the length that we've laid out here? It looks, I mean, I'm not looking
We
to
have to
look.
fit within this original variance, so we have.
Well, no, I'm saying,
it's not, it's at this point,
You can't.
the board
you can't hold
can't
it.
give an advisory
Decide.
opinion
Yeah.
or
okay,
just give
That's
you
a
the
bummer.
options.
it's a real bummer because I.
In legal
this for
parlance,
months,
it's a
and
bummer.
I know you didn't know, I still am not upset with you, it's just a bummer because no one in any constant anywhere in town told me this had been decided, that I could have solved this months ago, and I've been over now for 3 months. And it's tough enough, not the business, this town, you know.
Well, you want to,
I'm gonna have to go back and talk to the architect.
get another,
Yes.
right, this is what I suggest, Joe. Why don't you get another date?
Yeah.
Right.
On the books.
Just a date.
Yeah.
Then you can decide how you wanna play it.
Yep,
Because
okay.
you could always just say, we don't need the date.
Yeah.
When you're done, and if this way you'll have it as a placeholder, and then.
And I have one more question too, and just as a business person now, I've never been a local business person, I've always been in corporate America, so this is really new to me. It was a fortune from a small business rep just to come here and do this, right? By the time I mailed registered receipts to 60 people that we're now talking about doing again, if I think the sign is right. And paying for the permit fee, which was $1,500. The whole thing cost me nearly $3,000 to find out if I could have a sign, right, on a commercial business in town. Feels exorbitant to ask me to now resubmit all of that funding and go through that process to avoid shrinking it 8 inches, right? I mean, it feels like a lot to ask from a small business owner's perspective. And I now have that perspective for the first time in my life, so.
And this board doesn't have any say whatsoever.
Well, yeah, well, that's not entirely true. I assume you could say that we can continue it part of the same process and you don't have to go through and fill out a variance form again and pay for the
Well,
fees again. I won't, okay.
Right, we are carrying it.
Yeah.
We're carrying your application, that's why we're gonna get another date.
Okay.
Right?
I didn't understand that. Thank you.
We're doing that, but in terms of
I understand,
what
that's
is being
helpful.
charged.
No, that's helpful, then it's just the registered letters.
now whether we can get this added?
No,
We can't do that?
no, because the application for the variance hasn't been, in my mind, properly presented.
Right.
Not because of you or us.
No, just it's not technically done the right way, yeah.
Because of the owner? I'm just confused
Because
where you're
the
at.
owner, and if it was just the owner, then maybe find a workaround admittedly to help you out, even though it's a little bit of an oddball, right?
Yeah.
Be comfortable figuring that out somehow, but the fact that you need variance relief that has not been publicly requested, that's where
So I'm gonna ask you one more question, I'm sorry to be a nuisance, but the variance relief I asked of the 60 people I sent the registered receipt to was more of an ask than what we've been
That's why
going
it's
back
not
for.
problematic. So
So I can't imagine why I should send to everybody again to say we're making it smaller. I don't have to, you're saying.
well.
He's asking us to renotice.
I understand, but the notice, you can maybe just show me let's just keep looking at it right now.
Just said canopy sign up.
Yeah, see, so that's
It's
fine.
just not
All it
different
said was
size.
that the canopy sign up,
Yeah.
meaning that, oh, you're not allowed to have a canopy sign in that zone.
Right.
But it's beyond that, we're talking about the size. And that's why, if you decide to go that route.
Yeah.
I think you need to.
No, renotice.
Yes.
I think,
And I think you
I have a question for you, Mr. Simon. Does the P matter in the sizing? Does he have to make everything smaller
It would comply with the
to comply with the variance? The maximum
Yeah.
of the big P
Yeah.
would have to be, okay.
It would-
thank you for asking.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so you don't have
It's
to like.
part of the logo, so it's important enough.
Okay,
piece.
no,
Yeah.
I totally get
Right.
it.
And what you should, I mean, you can, of course, work with, to the point of being, user friendly.
Yeah.
Right? You can contact Eileen, certainly.
Yeah, I
if you
will
have
reach out to
questions
Eileen
about-
separately, or probably deal with these, to sort out what I do and don't need to do, and to get the exact measurements to ask an architect what they think.
My guess is that there will be an architectural workaround, we may not see.
Probably not for the PA, but probably for the rest of it, I have to sort that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question for you, Mr. Simon, is lighting part of this?
So lighting, to my understanding, was within the way it's lit, and then we lit was within approved.
Okay.
Zoning, approved already existing zoning in town, we lit it that way on purpose.
Yeah, Jane,
Come back.
Eileen,
Thank you, no, thank you for saying that, but I did work on that part.
this won't take.
I first of all, I think we can come back to the sign that applies, so we don't even have to back.
Okay, so if I do that,
That's
we
what I'm
don't,
saying.
right,
You do
okay,
that.
I'll work that out first, I'll call the architect tomorrow. They're in Ohio,
Get
so.
a date, right?
Get a placeholder.
Okay, yeah,
Just in
they're
case
in
it
Ohio or.
doesn't, in case it doesn't work, you wanna have a date.
Yeah, I hear you.
So how far?
I mean, I just don't think this is gonna take very long, so I don't know, do we have comments?
Yeah, more so than 17th, there's 2 people out.
I'm out, I'm out, so
Yeah,
I would,
you're not
if we could do the
second.
second
So
of
should we
August.
August
Is
3rd?
that enough time?
It's enough time for me to get registered letters out
Oh,
to
for notice.
you and to get I think it's enough time to notice stuff, is that not
Notice
true?
would have to be-
I
I think you're gonna do it.
Yeah,
Personally,
I wouldn't,
That's what you should do.
I wouldn't ask for the date. I mean,
Yeah, no, it doesn't leave you a lot of options.
It's not gonna, right.
Okay, so what is the date after the third?
That I could put you on
Yeah.
September 14th.
September 14th, okay.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, so thank you.
All right.
I'll sort it out with the architect tomorrow, I think I'll just reach out to you when I have a sense of the date aside. Okay, thank you all, I
Good luck.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Working it out.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Welcome.
That's a quickie weird
All
thing.
right. Next up, calendar number 4095-26, oil and harbor wall, 194 Long Hill Drive. Yeah, look, I'm a little bit concerned about time and how much time we're gonna have with the tennis club. So I'm wondering, Eileen, is there a possibility of doing a special meeting that,
Here, I'd have to check with the library.
okay?
I
mean,
because they have their.
I just don't want people sitting here and then the janitor comes in and says, we gotta close, you know.
Well, and there's a lot of people on the audience or whatever
Yeah.
position they have.
Right, I don't want.
Is that you don't wanna rush the process, you wanna give everybody their opportunity to say what they wanna say, the applicants present a case. And they wouldn't get started until, you know, well,
Yeah, and I don't know quite that's the one that would be, but I think it's obviously a very important matter, and I don't want to shortchange that, so.
The only thing I could just think. Well, there's no. Labor Day because. September, I think the promise went into is Labor Day is on. And then we're going to, think of Jewish holidays.
Does it have to be a Monday?
Okay. Doesn't have to be, but we'll have to carry it to a date until I find out when I'm.
So we
having
can,
a special
we can
meeting.
carry it to the second,
You know,
just for
so-
scheduling purposes.
And I have to check with the library and everybody here as to when we could make it, when we could make a special meeting.
right, and what's this first maybe, is the applicant's council here? Come on forward.
You're Thomas Garlic, commercial level. Yeah.
So upon hearing this, and there's people in the audience and all that kind of thing. The two things I'm concerned about in terms of what's being discussed is if you go to a day other than a Monday, I think you may want to risk because you're asking for a D2 variance and the alternative in terms of making sure that you have 7 voting members. And then you change the dates sometimes because of scheduling that may be difficult. And also, I'm bringing Tom up or I'm getting the high sign to come up because I want to make sure that when we find a date, that his professionals also are going to be available. Right, you have professionals on this?
So, yeah, we have our engineer who's also provided planning testimony for the last hearing, we provide supplemental planning testimony based on, I guess, procedurally how the board follows through based on our request in our letter.
Right. Okay.
So just the one professional is anticipated, we have our architect here, just in case there were questions or anything like that.
Okay.
But
That's helpful.
Right, so. I think we're probably not able to assign a date certain tonight.
Right, that would be, because I have to check with
Yeah.
that here to see what would be available, and most of the meeting takes if there's other meeting going on. Committee, the planning for the historic. And
Historic won't be a problem on Monday, because we meet on Thursday.
Not going to be on a different.
Yeah, we only meet once a month though, so, but it's once a month on Thursdays.
So I just have to find out
Yeah,
if there the.
what's the fee for a special? What is it? So, while we're making this decision.
Right.
And my only other thought is carry it to the August third meeting. Yeah. In the interim, figure out, we're gonna go that route, a special meeting.
Well, that's
See,
the
so
one
that
I'm
we
gonna
can have set that meeting.
We would carry it to another meeting, like a long third or some other church, for scheduling purposes only. And then ascertain at that point, what we'll get going.
With the public announcement that.
Correct. So, so the public is aware, the applicant, as you may know, provided new notice, which I reviewed for this meeting tonight. So what the board is contemplating is carrying the meeting regarding, Little Tennis Club to, what is it, August what?
August third.
August third for scheduling purposes only. So what would happen is that between now and August third, the board would ascertain what date the matter would be carried to and make sure that we would have the number of eligible voters for that, and then make an announcement at the August third meeting of what that new date will be. So you wouldn't be required to be prepared to testify on August third. We're not gonna have a meeting, no experts need to be showing up, but just for purposes of statement.
We're gonna put it on the third.
Yeah. And we're not gonna be on the third.
How many people we put on, I don't know if it's not. I mean, you don't have a lot of testimony left, I know there's public comment, I get that, reserving enough time for.
My guess is there's going to be an awful lot of discussion.
I was just asking.
It's obviously a very fair question.
Asking the question to be asked.
You know, we have a whole set of other matters now, we
Yep.
moved a bunch of things into the third, and I just think this, I mean, if we could do a special meeting. And I realize that's not easy to do, but I think given the importance of this, wanting to give everybody time to testify and have a full robust discussion with the board, give this matter the attention it deserves, I think we should not try to jam it into another meeting. Unless we have to.
But in either event, providing the new date on August third will also prevent the public, give the public ample opportunity to arrange their schedules.
Absolutely.
You gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Don't
worry,
We're adjourning.
So,
Right now, we're adjourning.
so this it's August third, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So this matter, the matter that is the Little Club Tennis Center, calendar 4074-26, 60 Linden Street will be carried to August third, 2026, at 7 o'clock at this location, 200 Glen Avenue, Milburn Public Library. But that will be for scheduling purposes only, and on that date, what will be announced is hopefully the actual hearing date, time and location for that continuation.
Okay. Good. Thank you, everyone.
I'm not trying to get it done. You guys go on. Yeah, we got.
You swear from testimony you give time to the truth, whole truth, and the truth. I do. Your name for the record. Please.
Words, P I Y U S X G O Y A N.
Daniel NCR.
Okay,
My name is Nita. So we live in 194 Longwood Drive. We moved into the house in 2015. With two little kids, we have a house and we drove it through. When we moved, the house was pretty spacious for us, but then COVID hit, so we started working from home with us. And our family situations have changed recently, so we've also been doing our mother-in-law with us. So we have 5 bedroom, we're using one right now as an office, which will be needed more as a bedroom right now, with the apartment on hold again. So that's, we need is more space.
So I'm sorry, you have 5, then?
Yeah.
One of which is being used.
It's not, no, as an office.
Oh, I'm sorry, as an office.
Yeah, so now. You can't leave it to it, you come up, like, public funding.
Thank you.
So now, yeah. These are.
We've seen it before. Any qualifications, please?
Yes, I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey since 2007. Licensed and I good standing, and I hold a Bachelor of Architecture professional degree from New Jersey Institute.
Presented before this board and other boards before.
I have presented before this board multiple times, as well as all the issues.
So you're involved in it, so.
So the property in question is 194 Longfellow Drive. It's located in the R4 zone. The house as it stands currently was constructed in 2007. The property is required lot area for the zone is 20,000 square feet. It's minimally undersized by 6 or 7 square feet at 19,994 square feet for the zone. So while undersized, not insignificant. The proposed work is an office and sunroom addition added to the first floor in the form of a single-story addition. Then the step back portion at the second story, which is a small projection to enlarge a current bedroom and bathroom that is on the second floor. The variance requested is for overall maximum building coverage. The existing building coverage is 13.63%. The proposed is 15.54%, and the allowable for the zone, 14%. The current building coverage as it stands is 2,725 square feet, and the allowable is 2,789. So the ability to add anything to the footprint of the house is limited to 74 square feet before it triggers the building coverage. The proposed increase that we're going here is 1.9% increase, and the proposed 15.54% is would result in 3,107 square feet of overall space.
Sorry, what's allowed? 100,107 is what you're looking for, and what's allowed?
The allowable at 14% is 2,799 square feet.
Okay.
And that's building coverage.
That is building coverage. So we have specifically looked at all the various aspects of all the other constraints and zone requirements, and we do conform with all of the other requirements, including FAR and impervious coverage. We're actually a fair amount under the impervious coverage. The proposed addition in the rear of the house is designed taking the place of existing patio. So the increase of impervious coverage proposed is only 0.8% on the property.
So the patio, assuming the project is completed, the patio will be kind of that L shape.
The patio, yeah, that is correct. The
upside down L, I guess.
Yes, this is the existing, that L is the existing patio. We're building out onto that patio. The proposed new patio is that very small sliver to the left, basically to bring it to the side of the addition, so the doors exiting out to that patio go to patio space. You can see in the site plan, the red shaded area being the proposed 1-story addition that's being proposed, which is the required amount of space for the first floor that is what's noted for the building coverage. And then up above, you can see on the site plan, there's a dashed line kind of in relief on there, and that is the proposed outline of the second story. And so in terms of the thoughts and keeping an eye towards massing and visual mass of the house and what's visible of this,
with the increased building coverage, it is not a two-story addition fully rising up. That second story is just pulled a few feet forward to expand the bedrooms, and it also serves to keep us within conformance with the allowable FAR. So looking at sheet A2, the first floor plan. The existing home that was constructed in 2007. It's a bit of an awkward layout in terms of the usable living space in relation to where the rooms are located. And so, as my client stated in the beginning, part of this is that the family member moving into that fifth bedroom to utilize that fifth bedroom on a permanent basis, they are in need of an office space. And so originally we looked at a proposal for creating that office space, which again, an 11 foot by 12.5 foot office, even at that size, would require a building coverage variance based on where the house or property is currently at. The issue that was encountered and what we initially tried to do is determine if we could add that office and then another small amount of space to then utilize the existing family room space and not ask for as much building coverage beyond what's there. The issue is the placement of the existing family room and the configuration of the existing kitchen is that there is a 3.5 foot wide opening, and that is the only connection from this main living area and kitchen into that family room. And that opening, based on how the family room is extended beyond the house and where the rest of the counter and usable workable space of the kitchen are, there is no feasible way to expand that opening, to open up the space and make that existing family room in any way connected to the main living area of the house and kitchen. And hence that's what drove us to take over some of the space that's there and cut back a little bit of the cabinetry area, and then propose to come 8 feet 8 inches off of that existing kitchen wall, and then utilize pre-existing space in that funny L shape of the house to become floor area within the house, and that is the proposed sunroom space, which the total interior size of that space is 14.5 feet by 17.5 feet as a room size. And so that is what drove the shape and the proposal for this specific size or ask of variance for building coverage. We attempted to start with creating something smaller with less building coverage, but based on the configuration, there was no feasible way to do that and limit that size. And so to create a usable room that will bring natural light and be usable as part of the overall open living space at the center of the house, this was the most feasible way to approach that.
Wait, can you articulate why the sunroom is set further back than the, like why you didn't see that horizontal?
Why not come straight across? For two reasons. One is the resulting size of space at that width would create a space that's 17.5 feet wide by only 11 feet deep.
Is it open to the?
Yes, this wall is proposed to be removed, so there's a current eating area here. This is the edge of the island, and then this is the existing kitchen cabinetry. This is kind of the working area of the kitchen.
Great. So it wouldn't be like closed off or closed room, it would be just an extension.
Right, but the usable space in terms of placement of furniture or anything else within the space would only be about 11 feet in depth, and from an exterior perspective, and we'll look at the exterior elevation in a minute, creating kind of a large shed roof for just a large flat face across the back was not attractive in terms of creating an addition that blended seamlessly with the house and kind of followed the roof lines and the other elements. And I'll show the second floor and then I'll go to that elevation so I can so you can see the proposed, the existing wall that's along the back of the house and the proposed work of that second story. It's just an extension to that rather small bedroom, which is currently being used as the office, as well as a small Jack and Jill bath that is there currently, and 3 feet to that, so we want to make it more usable for 2 regular sized rooms within the space. And then you can see below here that this is all the 1-story addition, the roof area below. And so sheet A4 is the proposed elevation at the rear and side of the house. All of this being the single-story space and that roof projecting outward, that small amount of projection for the bedroom, and then the bathroom space. This area to the right is the office area, and then this area here is the proposed sunroom and open living area that is adjacent to the existing kitchen and breakfast space. From the side of the house, you get a clearer picture. As we propose looking at the left side elevation, where the second story comes out just a few feet, and the first story projects a bit more. But in the layout of what's here, and going back to the site plan, again, keeping an eye towards the massing and what's visible from anywhere else, placing it in the center of the rear and conforming with all of the other requirements and setbacks. From the right side of the property, based on where the existing family room projection is, the project is essentially invisible. From the left side, while there's a number of trees and it is set in far away, it does not project out as far as the current family room space. So viewing from that side, you're still seeing building to the same dimension. There's really no change in terms of the perception. And from the rear, the proposed roof lines and shapes and massing and windows that are on the addition improves the character and look of the back of the house.
So what is behind the house? Is there landscaping that between the house and behind you?
There are the trees, on landscape.
Yes,
Right.
and actually we have probably 0.2, 0.3 acres of land between us and the
3 acres.
0.2.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's
that's
3 acres.
0.2, right, yeah.
Nobody's gonna see
Yeah,
that.
that's actually a lot of trees and
Yeah.
woods there, so.
Okay. So is the back of the house visible from the house behind you, or?
So there are lots of trees
Yeah.
during winter, yes, when there are no leaves,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
summer,
Yeah, okay, got it.
yeah.
Are you finished your testimony? I don't want to interrupt you.
Oh, sure.
Your flow. So just humor me, if we were to go straight across where the sunroom, the proposed sunroom is, would that subtract from your building coverage variance at all? To lose that?
Well, anything that would be removed from the footprint would remove from the
So
building
would you,
coverage.
so just wondering, would you need a variance if you pulled that back?
Yes, the allowable, based on the current square footage of the house, there is 74 square feet of allowable building coverage remaining before a variance is triggered. And so even that office at 11 by 12 far exceeds the number and automatically triggers that variance.
So you'd still need a variance, even if
Regardless.
you didn't, it would just
Correct.
less.
That is correct.
Because it's a modest variance. It's fine.
Just that based on the proposed work and appearance of the addition, and the kind of function and use of that space, for enlarging, the living space, kind of bringing it up to, more current living standards, than what you would see in terms of 20 years ago in terms of segmented rooms, kind of more open living areas for the family, which tends to center around the kitchen space. We're dealing with a preset location and area of the kitchen and trying to work best around that area while still minimizing the overall impact to anything on the site. So based on that, we do feel that the benefits of what's proposed for the project far outweigh any detriments.
Sorry, one more question. Is this going from a 5-bedroom house to a 6-bedroom house?
It is not.
It's staying
It's
5.
currently 5 and it is staying 5.
Oh, thank you.
One is currently used as an office,
Mhm.
hence needing to use that bedroom is
And then you're
triggering
making
the
the
office
new
space.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the board? I don't see anybody in the audience.
Sent them all down.
Any questions from them? They're all gone home tonight.
No.
Okay, guess we will close the public portion. portion of the meeting and, we would like to offer their views.
I'm familiar with the house and it's something that nobody will see except them, really.
Yeah.
And it's nicely done, so.
Yeah, I agree with Stephen. I think you undersold it. The house behind you is a very deep lot. And there's a lot of vegetation, a lot of trees and stuff. They have a backyard and then a lot of trees.
Yes, almost, yeah.
So it's a fair ways, they have a much larger backyard than you.
Yeah. We can actually sell the talk.
I will support those too, it's very minor.
Nicely done, same.
Yeah, very thoughtful, so, I would be supportive. Okay, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the application.
Second?
Second.
David Bradford.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Watch the project.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was worth sticking.
I took that off.
No,
the agenda.
Let's make it. We could ask the board members.
Well, I know there's no one here, then you would have. Okay. All right. Motion to adjourn.
No, but they,
Okay, second.